Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Fimbulwinter Finals. This is my best out of 7 versus Shadowfax, and the first map here is always random all, and there are like 50 different maps in the pool, so you don't really know what to expect here. It can be a big water map like Mediterranean or maps similar to Mediterranean. It can be a land map with a lot of hunt or low hunt, or it could be something like this Highland, which has a lot of hunt and cows, but it also has these small ponds in the middle with fish in them. So I choose Loki. Shadowfax goes with Thor. I think both of these gods are pretty good for random all because there are so many water maps in the random map pool. You need to be able to compete on water. If you go for Odin, he's really strong on land, but he doesn't actually compete very well on water. So I think you have to pick either Loki or Thor when you're playing random all in the Norse War Mirror. So I get this dog up here, and immediately I start pumping out fishing ships. You notice I have 5 on wood this early, so I plan on getting a second dock really early as well, because I know that I won't necessarily get a lot of fishing boats out here. Oftentimes you will compete with your opponent over the fishing spots, so I think I'll get a second dog as well. Shadowfax, I'll just spoil this. He goes for a dog himself, but he only gets one dog. I choose to get 2 dogs out. He only goes for 1, and he gets a bit of a faster advance than I do. And he makes really good use of this fast advance. He manages to pressure me quite a lot, even though he's Thor and I'm Loki. Usually you would think that Loki has all the pressure over Thor because he's got these strong Hersers and the myth unit spawns, but because he gets the fast advance and because he has the water economy, he manages to put me under a lot of pressure. But the game does drag on and it goes into mid and late game, and I think it turned out to be a really good game actually. So, yeah. What else is there to say? I think let's just talk about me and Shadowfax. Shadowfax had beat Brickhead, he had beat Rappel, and he had beat who else? I think one other really good Norse player in order to get to the finals. So obviously Shadowfax is extremely talented and really good in the Norse War Mirror. He's generally a very, very quick, fast player. People tend to say I'm not, and I guess they're right. So in the Norse War Mirror, oftentimes it is about being really fast early on in the game and being able to micro your economy and your military at the same time. And Shadowfax just does this really well. So he's managed to get to the finals, beating out a lot of good players. So I wasn't really sure getting into the finals here. I wasn't really sure how good my chances were. I knew that I play Loki really well. I'm very comfortable with Loki in the or in the Norse War Mirror, and I know that Shadowfax doesn't really play Loki very much. He prefers Thor, so I thought maybe I could get away with just relying on my knowledge of the meta, sort of being able to abuse Loki early game versus Thor. But I mean, you can see this game here. He's got a really good idea of how to play the Norse War as well. He advances early, and he puts me under a lot of pressure, despite being Thor, who is supposedly weaker than Loki early on. So this was definitely a difficult finals. I'm not going to spoil anything about who wins or anything, but yeah. Just this is going to be a pretty good game here in Highland, and I hope you enjoy.
Ég vil. Já, samþykkt. Ég vil.
Hver þar?
Skipan?
Satt, samþykkt. Hver þar? Hver þar? Ég vil.
Já, ég vil. Skipan? Tilbúin. Ég vil. Samþykkt. Já.
Skipan. Já.
Tilbúin. Samþykkt.
Tilbúin.
Já, ég vil.
Já. Atrás.
Hver þar? Veiðimaður.
Já.
Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Samþykkt. Ég vil. Já. Skipan. Tilbúin.
Já.
Tilbúin. Ég vil. Veiðimaður. Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Grjótsveit.
Tilbúin. Tilbúin.
Já, ég vil. Tilbúin. Já. Tilbúin. Já, ég vil. Samþykkt. Já. Ég vil. Skip. Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Já, ég vil. Samþykkt. Ég vil. Já, samþykkt. Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Skipan. Já. Til orðstöðslag. Já, ég vil. Já.
Tilbúin skip timbursveit.
Tilbúin.
Já.
Skip. Fyrir samþykkt. Já. Samþykkt.
Tilbúin.
Skipan.
Já. Skipan.
Skipan. Já. Ég vil.
Já. Skipan.
Fyrir það. Ég samþykkt. Skipan. Já. Atrás.
Já.
Skip. Atrás. Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Já. Já. Samþykkt. Já. Satt. Atrás. Skip. Samþykkt. Satt. Fyrir það.
Já. Ég vil.
Skipan. Tilbúin. Ég vil. Já. Samþykkt. Fyrir það. Fyrir það. Til orðustu fyrir það. Já. Já.
Tilbúin. Já.
Skipan.
Tilbúin.
Já.
Já. Sækið fram. Atrás. Til
Já.
orðstöðslag.
Já. Já. Fyrir það. Fyrir það.
Skipan. Já. Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Já.
Já. Hver er það?
Skipan. Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Tilbúin. Já. Samþykkt. Skipan. Samþykkt.
Tilbúin.
Já. Samþykkt. Skipan. Já. Skipan.
Skip
Já.
hann. Hver er
Ég
það?
vil.
Skip hann. Hver er þar?
Já. Atrás. Já. Atrás. Samþykkt. Já.
Skip
Ég
samþykkt. Samþykkt. Hver er það?
Atrás.
Skip hann. Já. Samþykkt. Sveit. Hver er það? Timbursveit. Satt.
Skipan. Skipan. Já. Samþykkt. Tilbúin. Tilbúin. Ég vil. Tilbúin. Ég vil.
Já. Ég vil. Já. Tilbúin.
Skipan. Tilbúin. Já.
Hver er það?
Tilbúin. Tilbúin. Ég vil. Já. Skipan. Til orðstöðslag. Skipan. Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Já. Tilbúin. Skipan. Ég vil. Skipan. Samþykkt. Já. Skipan. Já. Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Atrás. Samþykkt.
Já. Skip. Ég vil.
Samþykkt. Tilbúin. Samþykkt.
Hver er það? Já.
Tilbúin. Ég vil. Tilbúin. Já. Ég vil. Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Tilbúin. Ég vil. Já. Skipan. Tilbúin. Já.
Skip. Fyrir þar. Já. Samþykkt.
Tilbúin. Skipan.
Já.
Skipan. Samþykkt. Já. Ég vil. Fyrir þar. Samþykkt.
Tilbúin.
Skip. Ég vil. Fyrir þar. Samþykkt. Tilbúin. Til orðuslag. Hver er það? Hver er það? Já, ég samþykkt. Ég satt.
Skipað. Já.
Já. Já. Hver er þar? Til orustuslag. Samþykkt.
Tilbúin. Skipan. Já. Timbursveit.
Tilbúin. Já. Ég vil. Til orustuslag.
Já.
Tilbúin.
Já. Satt. Til orustuslag. Atrás. Tilbúin.
Skipan. Tilbúin.
Já.
Skipan. Skipan. Tilbúin.
Tilbúin.
Skipan. Grjótsveit.
Tilbúin. Ég vil. Já.
Skipan. Timbursveit.
Já. Ég vil. Satt.
Já. Ég vil. Samþykkt. Skipan. Ég vil.
Já.
Til samþykkt. Skipan. Já. Samþykkt. Hver er þá?
Hver er það? Satt. Ég vil.
Já. Samþykkt. Já. Ég vil. Samþykkt.
Skipan.
Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Samþykkt. Til orustuslag.
Já. Samþykkt. Já. Samþykkt. Til orustuslag. Já. Sækið fram.
Tilbúin. Ég vil. Atrás.
Já. Skipan.
Atrás.
Skipan. Sækið fram. Sækið fram.
Til orustuslag. Hver er það? Skipan. Atrás. Tilbúin.
Já.
Skipan. Ég vil.
Skipan.
Til orustuslag. Já.
Já. Já.
Hver er það? Já. Ég vil. Samþykkt. Ég vil. Hver er það?
Já. Já. Tilbúin. Já.
Skipan. Ég vil. Samþykkt.
Hver er það? Hver er það? Satt. Skipan. Satt. Tilbúin. Ég vil. Já. Hver er það?
Já. Tilbúin. Samþykkt.
Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Skipan. Samþykkt. Ég vil. Já. Já. Skipan. Tilbúin. Ég vil.
Já. Samþykkt.
Hver er það? Skipan. Satt. Tilbúin. Já. Samþykkt. Skipan. Já. Já. Satt. Ég vil. Satt. Já. Já. Til orustuslag. Ég vil. Samþykkt. Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Já. Til orustuslag.
Skipan. Samþykkt.
Tilbúin.
Tilbúin.
Skipan. Ég vil.
Já. Já. Tilbúin.
Hver er það? Já.
Skipan. Skipan. Fram. Já. Skipan. Fram. Skipan.
Tilbúin.
Tilbúin.
Samt hver er það? Já. Hver er það?
Skipan. Já. Tilbúin.
Tilbúin. Já. Samþykkt. Já. Skipan. Já. Samþykkt.
Hver er það? Ég vil. Samþykkt. Satt. Ég vil.
Skipan. Ég vil. Samþykkt.
Tilbúin. Skipan. 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 Já.
Til atrás.
Já. Skipan. Já. Til orustuslag. Skipan.
Hver er það? Samþykkt. Já. Samt til já. Já.
Tilbúin. Já. Já. Já.
Hver er það? Skipan. Hver er það?
Til orustuslag. Til orustuslag.
Já.
Skipan. Skipan. Samþykkt. Hver er það? Skipan.
Sækið fram.
Hver er það? Já. Atrás.
Tilbúin. Tilbúin. Sækið fram. Sækið fram. Tilbúin. Já. Til orrustuslag. Fætið fram. Já. Fætið fram.
Hver er það? Samþykkt.
Hver er þar? Já. Satt.
Tilbúin. Já, ég vil. Tilbúin. Já. Skip. Já, ég vil.
Tilbúin. Ég vil. Já. Samþykkt. Já. Ég vil. Satt. Tilbúin. Ég vil. Tilbúin. Ég vil.
Ég vil. Skipan. Ég vil. Samþykkt. Skipan. Já. Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Já. Samþykkt. Ég vil. Skipan. Ég vil.
Skipan.
Tilbúin. Ég vil. Já. Ég vil. Skipan. Ég vil. Já. Tilbúin. Frás. Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Já. Skip. Orrustuslag. Tilbúin. Já. Ég vil. Samþykkt. Já. Skipan til orrustuslag. Tilbúin. Já. Frás. Skip. Samþykkt. Tilbúin. Já. Fætið fram. Já. Fætið fram.
Já. Hver er þar? Skipan. Já. Grjótsveinn. Já. Ég vil.
Skipan. Já, ég vil. Samþykkt. Skipan. Samþykkt. Já. Tilbúin. Ég vil. Skipan. Ég vil. Tilbúin. Já. Hver er það? Tilbúin. Til orrustuslag. Já, ég vil. Skipan. Tilbúin. Já. Tilbúin. Frás. Skipan. Fætið fram.
Hver er þar?
Já. Grjótsveit.
Tilbúin. Samþykkt.
Skipan. Orrustuslag. Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Skipan. Já. Samþykkt. Ég vil. Tilbúin. Atrás. Grjótsveinn.
Já.
Ég vil. Timbursveinn. Já. Satt.
Skipan. Grjótsveinn. Já. Skipan. Já. Tilbúin. Já. Skipan. Skipan.
Hver er þar?
Skipan. Tilbúin.
Hver er það? Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Til orrustuslag.
Tilbúin. Já. Til orrustuslag.
Já.
Já. Samþykkt.
Hver er þar? Ég vil. Atrás. Hver er það? Til orrustuslag. Já. Atrás. Samþykkt. Hver er það? Satt. Ég vil.
Já. Ég vil.
Já. Grjótsveinn. Tilbúin.
Tilbúin. Ég vil. Já.
Skip. Samþykkt. Já. Ég vil. Orrustuslag.
Skipan. Ég vil.
Já.
Hver er það? Já. Samþykkt. Til ég vil. Já.
Tilbúin. Samþykkt.
Til ég vil. Já. Samþykkt. Samþykkt. Atrás. Já. Samþykkt. Ég vil. Til orrustuslag.
Já. Ég vil. Orrustuslag.
Hver er það?
Já. Samþykkt. Ég vil.
Skip. Já. Til orrustuslag.
Já.
Já. Til atrás.
Skipan.
Skipan.
Skipan. Samþykkt.
Skipan.
Ég vil.
Skipan. Til orrustuslag. Hver er það? Atrás.
Já. Ég vil.
Skipan. Já.
Skipan.
Já. Til orrustuslag.
Tilbúin.
Samþykkt. Já. Já. Samþykkt. Já. Ég vil.
Skip, já.
Já. Satt.
Skip, til ég vil. Satt, samþykkt. Já, samþykkt. Til samþykkt.
Ég vil.
Já.
Já. Já. Hver er það?
Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Já. Samþykkt. Tilbúin. Samþykkt.
Skip, samþykkt. Hver er það? Ég vil. Já, ég vil. Skip hann.
Já. Samþykkt. Já.
Hver er þar? Samþykkt.
Já. Samþykkt. Ég vil.
Já, ég vil. Til samþykkt. Já. Skip,
Já. Til orustuslag.
Skip hann, satt, grjótsveik.
Hver er það? Hver er það? Ég vil. Satt.
Já. Ég vil. Samþykkt. Já.
tilbúið. Skip hann. Hver er þar? Atrás.
Ég vil.
Já.
Já. Til orustuslag.
Skip hann, ég vil.
Tilbúin. Ég vil.
Hver er þar?
Tilbúið.
Skip hann.
Hver er þar?
Tilbúin.
Hver er þar? Skip hann.
Tilbúin.
Skip hann. Samþykkt.
Hver er þar? Hver er þar? Samþykkt. Ég vil orustu slag.
Já, ég vil. Já, grjótsveinn.
Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Já.
Tilbúið. Já. Hver er þar? Til orustu slag. Hver er þar? Já.
Tilbúinn.
Hver er þar? Veiðimaður.
Já. Til orustu slag. Já.
Tilbúin.
Hver er þar?
Já.
Hver er þar? Já. Atrás. Orustu slag. Tilbúið.
Skip hann.
Hver er þar? Skip hann.
Hver er það, Sveinn?
Tilbúið.
Já.
Skip hann. Já. Hver er þar?
Já. Samþykkt.
Skip hann. Ég vil. Samsagt. Ég vil. Já. Til orustu slag. Tilbúið. Ég vil. Já. Atrás.
Samþykkt. Skip. Samþykkt. Já. Ég vil. Tilbúin. Ég vil.
Já, samþykkt. Veiðimaður. Samþykkt. Grjótsveinn.
Tilbúinn. Já.
Já. Ég vil. Skip hann.
Skip hann, samþykkt, já.
Skip hann. Hver er þar? Satt. Skip hann. Hver er þar? Tilbúið. Satt. Ég vil. Já.
Skipan? Samþykkt.
Já, ég vil.
Skip. Já. Satt.
Tilbúin. Samþykkt.
Já, ég vil. Tilbúin. Átrás.
Já, atrás.
Já. Hver er þar? Ég vil.
Tilbúin.
Hver er það? Skip hann. Já. Timbursveinn.
Já, samþykkt. Timbursveinn.
Já. Ég vil.
Tilbúinn.
Tilbúinn. Já. Samþykkt.
Hver er þar? Tilbúið. Samþykkt. Já. Atrás. Tilbúið. Satt.
Tilbúin.
Samþykkt.
Já. Tilbúin. Já. Samþykkt.
Hver er þar? Atrás.
Skip hann. Já. Veiðimaður.
Já, satt, hver er það? Hver er ég vil?
Tilbúið. Skipin. Ég vil. Samþykkt. Satt. Já. Samþykkt. Hver er þar? Já. Hver er þar?
Skip hann. Já.
Hver er þar?
Hver er það?
Skip hann. Ég vil. Hver er þar? Já. Ég vil. Tilbúið. Ég vil.
Skip hann.
Ég vil. Skipan.
Já.
Já, veiðimaður. Timbursveit.
Já, atrás. Atrás.
Tilbúin. Forustuslag. Til forustuslag.
Hver er það? Já.
Hver er þar? Samþykkt. Ég vil.
Hver er það? Já.
Tilbúin. Fætið fram. Tilbúin. Tilbúin.
Skipan. Ég vil.
Tilbúin.
Já, tilbú. Já.
Skipan. Til forustuslag.
Grjótsveit.
Já. Tilbúin. Til forustuslag.
Já, ég atrás. Skipan. Já.
Skipan.
Tilbú. Já.
Skipan. Skipan. Til forustuslag. Tilbúin. Já.
Skipan. Tilbúin. Veiðimaður.
Hver er það? Ég vil. Skipan. Já.
Tilbúin. Já. Skipan. Samþykkt. Satt. Já. Samþykkt. Já. Satt. Samþykkt. Ég vil. Já. Satt.
Já.
Já. Til forustuslag.
Ég vil. Tilbú. Samþykkt. Ég vil. Já. Samþykkt. Hver er þar? Ég vil. Já. Ég vil.
Tilbúin. Ég vil.
Hver er þar? Samþykkt. Skipan. Hver er þar? Skipan. Ég vil. Hver er þar? Ég vil. Tilbúin. Hver er þar? Já.
Tilbúin. Ég vil.
Til samþykkt. Já. Samþykkt.
Skipan.
Já.
Já. Ég vil.
Skipan.
Já. Samþykkt.
Tilbúin. Ég vil.
Satt.
Skipan. Ég vil. Hver er þar? Hver er þar? Satt. Já. Ég vil.
Samþykkt. Hver er þar? Hver er þar? Atrás.
Skipan.
Já. Ég vil. Timbursveit.
Satt.
Hver er þar? Hver er þar?
Tilbúin. Til forustuslag. Til
Hver er þar?
forustuslag.
Tilbúin.
Já.
Okay, welcome back. So, that didn't turn out too well in the first game. Like I said in the beginning of the game, I just didn't have as good a game plan as he did on Highland. Looking back, I really wish I had just, I don't know, prepared for this kind of map a lot better. Because that's like Highland, it's Anatolia, it's a lot of the more funky maps like Calm Shores.
Skipan.
Já.
And a lot of these semi, what do you call it, semi-water maps. I really wish I had just prepared a lot better for it, because what he did was just advance extremely early, and he got a really good early advantage, and he just pretty much chilled from that point onwards, and he got a really good Ragnarok off last game, so it's unfortunate. I lose that first game, so I get to decide the second map. And I go for Alfheim because I'm pretty confident in playing Odin on Alfheim. I think Odin is an extremely good choice on Alfheim because he's got great hunt. And I knew that in the game before this, when Shadowfax played semi-finals, he played versus Rebel and he played Thor versus Odin in that matchup. And I thought I would actually like to play that. I want to play Odin versus Thor in Alfheim. Reason I like Odin here over Thor is because of great hunt, like I said. he's got access to basically 5 extra elks or caribous than Thor does. This is the problem though. This game, I did one really big mistake this game. I don't know why I did this, but I choose to wall here. Like my scout, like my Ulfsark here. He should be out in the middle of the map scouting for cows, but instead I build walls. And yeah, it's good to build these small walls around these narrow passages because they help tremendously against raids. But as you can see here, I'm not actually scouting any cows. Shadowfax, on the other hand, he's getting all of them. I'm just busy making these walls everywhere, and meanwhile, Shadowfax is running around the map, getting all of the cows, and this is really going to hurt me later on. Because it is good that I have the Great Hunt. I even got 2 cows from the Great Hunt in the beginning, if you saw that. And I do have the extra hunt, but if I don't get any cows, I'm really going to get behind. So right now I have 5. 2 of them are made artificially, if you like, from Great Hunt. And that's pretty much all I got. I scouted 1 extra cow, maybe. But then I built these 2 walls, and I built my temple back in my home base. Nothing else. And that's really a big problem. So I already know that I'm going to the hunt down south from where I am right now. And another mistake I made is there is an opening. I don't know how I missed this, but there's an opening to my next hunt spot here. And I don't manage to close it off. So I go for these 2 walls that I made, but I don't finish it off with a 3rd wall. So Shadowfax has free access to my hunt where I'm going, and this is going to hurt me as well. I do manage to make a comeback from the bad early start, but I'm having a really hard time because I don't have any cows, basically. So, yeah. A bit of a blunder for me this game to not realize that I have to go scouting for cows, basically. Really newbie mistake, thinking back to it, but yeah, I guess I just kind of screwed up. You can, it's a good game still. There's a lot to learn, and especially just about the importance of early scouting and using your Ulfsark correctly early on. Like you notice, I get another really good wall here, but I see his raven here. He knows exactly where I'm hunting at this point, and he advances earlier than me, just like last game, and he's now sending an Ulfsark, and he's also going to send his Valkyrie, of course he is, and it's going to make it a bit difficult for me.
Tilbúin. Samþykkt.
Hver þar? Ég vil.
Tilbúin. Já.
Já. Skipan. Hver þar? Satt. Ég vil.
Skipan. Satt.
Hver þar?
Tilbúin. Samþykkt.
Hver þar?
Skipan.
Skip. Já. Já.
Hver þar? Satt. Satt. Ég vil. Satt. Ég vil.
Tilbúin. Samþykkt.
Skipan. Ég vil.
Já. Atrás.
Atrás. Sækir fram. Já.
Já. Já. Samþykkt. Já. Já. Ég vil.
Já.
Já. Ég vil.
Já. Samþykkt. Atrás.
Já. Samþykkt.
Skipan.
Já. Atrás. Skipan.
Já. Já.
Já. Ég vil.
Skipan.
Já. Ég vil. Satt.
Tilbúin. Ég vil.
Skipan. Já. Ég vil. Já. Já.
Já. Tilbúin. Já. Já. Atrás. Já. Atrás.
Skipan. Já.
Tilbúin. Ég vil. Samþykkt. Já. Samþykkt. Samþykkt.
Skipan. Orrustuslag. Tilbúin.
Já. Já. Tilbúin.
Já. Til orrustuslag.
Sækir fram.
Hver er þar? Satt.
Skipan.
Já. Hver er þar? Samþykkt. Já. Samþykkt. Já.
Já. Samþykkt. Ég vil. Já.
Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Samþykkt. Hver er þar? Skipan. Hver er þar? Já.
Skip. Já. Samþykkt. Já.
Skip. Samþykkt.
Skipan. Já. Tilbúin. Já. Tilbúin. Samþykkt.
Já. Ég vil.
Hver er þar? Samþykkt.
Samþykkt.
Tilbúin. Ég vil. Já.
Já. Já. Tilbúin.
Skipan. Ég vil.
Skipan. Jeg vil.
Tilbúin. Samþykkt.
Tilbúin. Jeg vil.
Já. Ég vil. Tilbúin. Ég vil. Já. Samþykkt. Skipan.
Tilbúin.
Rás.
Já. Tilbúin. Kraus. Já. Kraus. Samþykkt. Já.
Skipan. Ég vil. Tilbúin. Já. Rás.
Samþykkt. Já. Ég vil. Satt.
Já. Sækið
Já.
fram.
Skip. Atrás.
Rás. Tilbúin. Ég vil.
Já.
Skipan. Tilbúin. Já. Skip. Já. Sækið fram.
Tilbúin. Hver er þar? Já. Hver er þar?
Tilbúin. Ég vil.
Tilbúin. Satt.
Skipan. Já. Samþykkt. Samþykkt.
Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Já.
Já. Samþykkt. Já. Rás. Tilbúin. Ég vil.
Hver er þar?
Skipan.
Já. Orrustuslag.
Skipan.
Skipan.
Tilbúin.
Já. Skipan.
Skipan. Hver er þar?
Já. Ég vil.
Skipan. Ég vil.
Já.
Skipan. Já. Tilbúin. Ég vil.
Tilbúin. Já.
Já. Skipan. Ég vil. Já. Sækið fram. Samþykkt. Já. Samþykkt. Já. Samþykkt. Ég vil. Samþykkt. Já. Samþykkt.
Hver er þar? Hver er þar? Samþykkt. Satt. Já.
Skipan. Tilbúin. Samþykkt.
Já. Ég vil. Já.
Já. Ég vil. Já.
Hver er þar? Skipan.
Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Já. Ég vil. Já.
Já. Ég vil.
Tilbúin. Samþykkt.
Tilbúin. Skipan. Já.
Skipan.
Hver er þar? Samþykkt.
Tilbúin. Já. Samþykkt. Já.
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 Hver er þar?
Skipan. Já. Ég vil.
Já.
Tilbúin. Já. Já.
Tilbúin. Ég vil. Grjótsveit.
Skipan. Rás. Skipan. Samþykkt. Ég vil. Sækið fram. Já. Tilbúin. Rás.
Til orrustuslag.
Tilbúin. Já. Ég vil. Já. Ég vil. Samþykkt. Já.
Tilbúin.
Tilbúin.
Samþykkt.
Tilbúin. Já. Tilbúin. Rás.
Tilbúin. Ég vil.
Já. Samþykkt. Ég vil. Já. Samþykkt. Ég vil. Samþykkt. Ég vil. Samþykkt. Tilbúin. Já.
Hver er þar?
Tilbúin. Grjótsveit.
Já. Fjósamann. Hver er þar?
Já.
Já.
Tilbúin.
Já. Hver er þar? Satt. Samþykkt. Ég vil. Grjótsveit.
Já. Samþykkt. Hver er þar? Hver er þar? Ég vil.
Já. Ég vil. Samþykkt. Tilbúin. Sækið fram.
Skipan.
Hver er þar?
Tilbúin. Já. Ég vil.
Hver er þar? Samþykkt. Já. Skipan.
Skipan. Ég vil. Já. Ég vil. Skipan. Atrás.
Já. Samþykkt. Atrás.
Tilbúin. Ég vil.
Skipa. Já, samþykkt. Já, satt, samþykkt.
Samþykkt. Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Ég vil.
Já, hver er það? Samþykkt. Hver er þar?
Já, samþykkt.
Samþykkt. Tilbúin.
Já.
Skip, já.
Tilbúin. Ég vil. Samþykkt.
Tilbúin. Veiðimaður. Já.
Skip, já.
Samþykkt.
Já, satt, tilbúin.
Já.
Tilbúin. Samþykkt. Já.
Tilbúin. Orustuslag. Skip. Já.
Hver er það? Til orustuslag.
Tilbúin.
Já, satt. Hver er það? Satt. Samþykkt.
Grjótsveinn.
Hver er það?
Tilbúin.
Skipan. Já. Tilbúin.
Já.
Disaster. I'm down 0-2, and once again I get to pick a map. So I choose Vinlandsaga, and this is one of the maps that you don't see very often in Age of Mythology tournaments. It's a very interesting map where both players start on a really small island, like you can see here, with very scarce resources. There are some berries and some trees all around the island, and a medium gold mine with 3,000 gold in it. But once this is depleted, you have to move over to the big island, which is up northwest. And you can play this map in a variation of different ways. I choose to go with Loki, and my plan is to go to the main island and basically sort of meet my opponent head on and try to get out a lot of Hersers and a lot of myth units and try to overpower him there. Shadowfax goes for Thor, and Thor I think is probably the sort of default choice here because when you move over to the big island, it's going to be difficult for you to actually get to chop wood in particular. It's really difficult. Like you can see, there isn't that much wood on the little island here, so you have to move over to the big island quite fast. And having forest fire against your opponent is really, really potent. So I think Thor is like the default choice here. Thor is also just really good on water, of course. But I choose to go for Loki because I think that Hersers and myth units are going to be able to overpower my opponent. So that's what I'm going for. My map is actually a bit unfortunate here. You see there's a lot of walking time from my berries to the gold. Oftentimes the berries are either next to wood or next to the gold mine, but here I have to walk quite a bit. And also my fishing spots aren't very good. But I just fight here. This is the map I'm presented with, and I'll do my best. So I go over to the main island here. As you can see, both players start with a transport ship. In the beginning you use it to scout with, to find the best locations to fish, and you can use it to transport your starting Alfheim as well. I notice his temple right here, and I think this is great, because this is exactly what I wanted. I want to know where he's building his temple, and then I want to overpower him in the early game. It's quite funny, he's being chased here by these Skraelings. They are like neutral Ulfsarks that will attack anything that comes near it. So when you just have these Skraelings in arcade gates, they don't deal any damage. So it's really annoying to get chased around by them. He does a good job here. He pulls his starting Ulfsark into the transport ship in order to get him into a safe position. And notice what he does here. I think this is really well done, actually. He got rid of the Skraelings from the big island, and now they're on me. And he places his temple right here and manages to wall himself in with a single wall ship there. And now the Skraelings are on me. It's so stupid. So I built another one in the meanwhile. At least, if I didn't do that, it would have been a big disaster. But I thought, okay, this is getting all a bit weird. So I better get a second Alfheim. I had already built 3 houses because I know that things can get crazy on this map. So my second Alfheim right now is building the temple on the main island, And the Skraelings are still chasing my first Alfsaga around, as you can see here, so I think, well, I'll just use it for scouting then. It's really hard to get rid of him, get rid of the Skraelings. I have to use a transport ship, actually. Maybe I should have done that. There's so much to actually do here on this map, because you gotta build the temple on the main island, you gotta take care of your fishing economy, your ordinary economy. Eventually you have to transport them over to the big island, and you sort of have to make a guess of where this game is going and try to predict what your opponent is doing all the while. And this is quite funny, because I got 2 pigs here. They sort of are on my team, and the Skraelings that were following me around, they chose to go onto the pigs instead. So now this Alfsag is free to do as he pleases. There are no more Skraelings following him around. I get a second temple up here. Like I said, my plan is to just overpower my opponent really quickly early on.
Tilbúin.
And
Hver þar?
I think I'll send some of my villagers over to the big island here as well. I'm getting Heimdall up here in a pretty good advance at time, I think. What is it, 5 minutes? Considering all the chaos that's been here, I think 5 minutes and 6 seconds is actually a very good timing here. And building right next to one of his houses is also really good. And look at this undermine, this is insane. This is how you use undermine in the Norse War. He's building 2 barracks right next to each other. And I don't know if you noticed this, but when you cast your undermine, you gotta cast it in such a way that from where you cast it onto the nearest building, it'll follow that trajectory until it ends, basically. So you have to place the undermine at the edge of. I placed it like down in the southern position from the first barracks, and it'll then follow up north. So I take down both of those 2 barracks, and now I'm taking down his temple too. And this is what I was talking about. What's happening here? He's going to send his Valkyrie here. He can forest fire my forest, and I have to really scramble to get some wood. But because I did so much damage with my undermine, because I managed to take down his temple as well, and now I'm even killing his Valkyrie. He's not really paying attention to this spot right now. Like I said, there's so much going on in this map. It's so hard to play this correctly without screwing up somewhere. So I've taken down 2 barracks, a temple, 2 houses. I'm doing really great this game so far. And I'm thinking I'll just keep up the pressure here. I've done so much damage already. It's better for me to just keep up the pressure. And that's what I'm doing, basically. I'm producing person. There's the forest fire, by the way, finally. I got a good spot here with 2 forests nearby, so the forest fire doesn't actually do too much damage. But yeah, we're just fighting now in his base. I destroyed so many of his buildings that I can overpower him with units now. He's scrambling to get enough houses, enough production, and I've been basically untouched. There's a nice Valkyrie spawn as well. That's the power of Loki in Norse Wars. And I think we'll see him surrender here. I think, yeah. Victory is mine. Very short one. Happy that I won this game, because this was a map where I prepared a strategy. I knew exactly what I was going to do here, so that was nice. So now the score is 1-2, and this is Shadowfax's map. And this map is called Calm Shores. I'll be honest, I had no idea about how this map even looked. I had to take a look before this game even started. I don't think I've even played a game on this map before. But it's really similar to Highland, which we played the first game. And I thought, I'll just play Loki again, and this time I'll do a better job than first. But yeah, I'll go 4 onto wood in the beginning here, and then I think I'll stop at 4. In the first game I went for 5 on wood, and here I'll go for 4, and I think I'll go for a really quick advance. I'm sort of doing this on the fly. Like I said, I didn't really prepare for it. And Shadowfax is playing Loki now. That's the first time he's deviated from the Thor pick, actually. And This is his map, like I said, so he surely has something planned here. Like, look at my dock here. This is what I was talking about. I don't know how this map looks, so my dock placement is way off here. I should have placed my dock a lot more down south. Basically, both players get 6 fishing spots in both ponds, but I have my dock placed way too aggressively here, or way too high up north. So it's really vulnerable, my dock here, and right now I'm considering, should I even get a dock over on the other side? Is that a good play, or should I stay on just the one side to the right here? I'm kind of juggling between what I can do here. I'm also contemplating maybe just build a really forward temple and rush his base here, because I think the gold mines are very forward on this map usually. But I think I'll just do some scouting here, and yeah, I see his dock over here, so I'm thinking, well, since we both placed our docks on this side, surely there's going to be some really early action from both of us here. And I find my second fishing spot over here. This is what I was talking about. My dock, it's placed so bad. It should have been between these 2 fishing spots, but instead it's located north of there, where it's really vulnerable, and my house is there too, so that's awful. I spy his Alfheim just to know what he's doing, and yeah, I have 4 on wood. Last time on Highland I had 5, so I'm thinking to myself, this is good. This is going to be a lot faster than last time, but I'm kind of struggling to get the temple up as soon as I want here, maybe. This is actually my first time watching the game since I played it, so I'm struggling to recall what I did here. But basically what I'm thinking is I need to get this early advance. I don't want to get overwhelmed like I did on Highland. So I'd take even 2 of my wood choppers off of wood over on goats instead, because I want to be able to advance really, really soon. Like I said in the beginning as well, I'm just coming up with a build order as I go. Look, I have 180 wood right now that I'm not even using. This is not good. I'm floating 180 resources that I'm not using early on. And this is all because I didn't prepare for this map. What is the time at now? 3:15, or yeah. And now I'm clicking up Heimdall, so it's going to be like a 4:20 advance or something like that. It's okay, but I could have done a lot better than this. A lot better if I prepared for it. I know that I didn't play this arcade gauge well enough, so I'm building a second temple again, just because I have spare wood, I have spare gold, and I'm thinking maybe I should have built a second dock actually. Come to think of it, instead of getting that second temple, imagine I got a second dock up. I think that would have probably been better. Look at him. He's up already now. There's still like 20 or 30 seconds. I can't quite see the timer while I'm recording this. It's a bit unfortunate. But yeah, he's up a lot earlier than I am, and he's attacking my dock immediately. And my dock is really exposed, like I said. It should have been placed a lot more defensively. He'll even use his Undermine ability, which deals, I think it's like 700 or 800 damage to ordinary buildings. It's actually a really nice god power. I love to use Undermine. He uses it now just to take down my dock before I can even get a longboat out. And this is a big disaster for me. Like, I have 6 fishing boats that are basically worthless now. And I have to figure out a way back. So I've got the 2 temples. I'm spamming out hearses, but the problem is that hearses cost 80 food and 40 gold, and my food economy isn't exactly the best, so it's hard to produce hearses from 2 temples when you don't have a fishing economy, like I sort of planned on having. I get a good undermine off here, where I stop that first barracks, as you can see here, but he's already got 1 throwing axeman out there, and he knows that I'm building barracks, so he knows that he can sort of try to get some good pressure onto me here. My problem, as you can see here, is I don't have enough food, basically. The reason I don't have enough food is because my dog got destroyed so early on. I wanted food for hussars, and I want for raiding cavalry, and I want to keep producing villagers too, of course, so I need a lot of food, and I'm just not getting it. So it's a bit of a struggle for me here. He's playing it very well here, seeing that I am under a lot of pressure, and he says, well, I'll just attack your barracks, and now he's forcing me to fight here. He has a better army, and because he's attacking my barracks, he's sort of forcing me to just try to do something here. Gets a nice troll spawn there, can attack my throwing axeman, and he's just overpowering me, man.
Something out.
Yeah, GG. Not good. Very short one again, but it is what it is. So I'm down 1-3, and once again I get to pick a map. I choose Frozen Wastes, which is in the it's one of the normal maps, and I know this map very well. I know exactly how good Odin is here. The reason why I think he's really good is because of Great Hunt, because you have to fight over the middle hunt, because there is some hunt in the beginning, but once that is depleted, you have to really fight over the hunt in the middle. So the reason I like Odin here, as you can see, is because of Great Hunt. You go from 4 caribou to 8 here, and going from 4 to 8 means that you don't have to move out of your base in Archaic Age. And this is really big, because your Archaic Age is going to be so much smoother than your opponent's. And I wanted to utilize Great Hunt and a superior Archaic Age versus Thor to sort of get map control early on. I've done this so many times. I've played a lot of Norse Wars, especially versus Rabble, where we've sort of practiced this. I know exactly what to do here, so I'm quite confident playing this matchup here. Shadowfax went Thor again. I'm surprised he would go Thor here, but he has a strategy that he really likes in Thor versus Odin, where he goes for Seti, and he tries to go for trolls as early on as he can. So he's very comfortable with that strategy, and that's great for him, that he has a strategy that he likes. A bit of fighting going on here, just the Alfsargs. It's always, you always gotta ask yourself, do I need a second Alfsarg when you're fighting here? Because my plan is to build forward, and I'm going to do it, even if he knows that I'm doing it. I'm perfectly fine with that. I want to get map control, meaning I want to build a forward temple, and that's just what I'm going to do. I built a second Alfsarg because I don't know what his plan is here with the Alfsarg, if he's going to keep being annoying with it or if he's going to retreat with it, but he does eventually retreat because he wants to go home, maybe build houses in the temple. I don't know what his plans are exactly, but I did build a second Alfsarg. It's no big deal. Odin has a very nice Archaic Age on this map, and I just get that forward temple up. I notice now, I slowly begin to notice that this is a really weird map. There are some very long, narrow forests which sort of function as walls on this map, and you can't quite see it yet. You can see them here. These weird forests, whatever. There's going to be some very weird forests here, and they're perfect for his strategy with the trolls. The trolls, of course, are ranged units, and they fight very well in these narrow passages here, where you cannot really maneuver around. You want to be able to hit the trolls, but he's able to hide them inside of these forests. He's going to be walling up as well. Right now I'm just focusing on my economy, of course. I have 5 on food, 5 on wood. Eventually I plan to put a lot of these wood choppers over on food, but I want the wood early on so that I can get longhouses down really quickly. Yeah, so I'm really just focusing my economy right now So you can't quite see how the map looks as of yet. Now you can see it. Now I begin to see where is he hunting, and I do see that he is on the walrus is there in the middle, which is perfect for me. So far everything is actually going perfect according to plan. This is a really good wall by him. He's doing a great job, because I'll be slowed down by quite a bit here.
Atrás.
Tilbúin. Samþykki maður.
Já.
Já, já, já. Skipan. Já.
Tilbúin.
Tilbúin.
Já.
He's hunting now. Like, if he didn't wall here, I would already have my Herser and very soon my Einherjar on his hunters, and he would have to retreat. But because of this wall, he saves himself some very, very valuable time here.
Já.
Skipan.
Yeah, it's a really good wall. He even gets to hit my Einherjar with his troll here.
Já.
So this is perfect play by him.
Atrás.
I finally managed to get through, but by now he's got a Herser out as well. And you notice, I forgot to do something here.
Hver þar? Já.
I don't know why, but I forgot to do the most important thing when you're rushing on a map like this, and that is to use my undermine. I should have my Raven over his base, and I should be ready to undermine his barracks when they were going up. But I just completely forgot to do it. I don't know, this was maybe a bit late for me. I'd been up late, been up all day or something, or maybe I was a bit tilted from the other losses. I'm not sure. But I just completely forget to use my undermine, and this is terrible because now he's got a temple and he's got 2 barracks, and he has a really nice production. He finds himself a perfect fight here. His troll is just hitting my throwing action perfectly, and I can't get around to the trolls. Like I talked about, this is the forests that are so annoying for me. I cannot maneuver around, and it's perfect for him. But it's not an excuse, because, like I said, I should have just used my undermine, and this would have been GG. Look at him, he built his barracks right next to each other again, so had I just used my undermine, this would have been over already, in my favor. But instead, he manages to defend himself perfectly, and he retreats just back there, and there's Caribou in a very, very safe spot. I do think his map was very good, but at the same time, it is not an excuse to lose like this.
Tilbúin. Já. Samþykkt. Tilbúin. Já. Ég vil.
It may not look like I'm not losing right now, but he's got the trolls, and the longer this game goes on, the better these trolls are going to be. So there's a lot of pressure for me to get something done here. But I'm having such a hard time with 2 trolls out already. If nothing happens for another minute or 2, there's going to be even more trolls, and it's going to be even more difficult for me, so I just have to do something, and I try to force a fight here and maybe get a snipe on a house here or whatever it is I'm trying, but it's just not possible for me, partly because of the forests and how weird they are. Here I just take a fight, I say. I don't want to wait around anymore. I don't want to get outscaled slowly. I've got a lot of throwing axemen in a good spot here actually, but I don't have any trolls as you can see, so it's a disaster for me. Pretty close fight so far, but he's killing my Hersers, and when I don't have any heroes left, I don't have any answer to his trolls in the back line. Even Einherjars, if I were to get them out, they're not even a good answer to the trolls either. So yeah, he fends back here, and there's just not much I can do anymore. So I lose this game, but I want to just say at the end here, I really enjoyed this tournament a lot, and I want to thank AOL Iron Maiden for hosting it, sponsoring it, and for streaming it and doing all the work related to this tournament. It's such a good job. Amazing that we have people like him in our community. And I want to say good job to Shadowfax as well, of course. And thank you to everyone who followed on Twitch, where everything was streamed. And thank you to those of you who followed here on YouTube as well. Really enjoyed this tournament. Honestly, this was like my favorite tournament I've participated in for a long while. Partly because it's Norse Wars, like Norse just gives the best games, and that's just how it is. But it's also because of it is sort of a fun tournament. This wasn't as serious as many others. Like the prize money is basically a Norse-themed item from Etsy. Last year I got a longboat, which I'm really happy about. And this year I have $15 from Etsy. I need to figure out what I want to get from that. Shadowfax won $70, I think it was. And third prize for me gets $15 too. So pretty good prize earnings here. And it is cool that you have to use it on a Viking themed item as well. I really like that. This is the final battle of my Fimbulwinter tournament, and here are trolls doing massive work, as you can see. I still produce hearses because I know that I need to take care of these trolls if I ever want to win here. But they just get taken down by his throwing axemen really, really easily. Good games, and I'm very happy about my second place finishing anyways.